Thanks, Jesse. After just 9 months in Congress, the Microbead-Free Waters Act of 2015 was passed on December 28th and signed into law by President Obama 10 days later. This law effectively bans production, distribution, and sale of certain microbeads throughout the United States. I talked with scientists and experts about the environmental impacts of microbeads to find out why they say this new law is so important.
Sometimes it's the little things that make a big difference. American consumers may not realize it, but a lot of the products we use contain harmful plastics. Since 2004, scientists have been concerned over the sudden emergence of this pollution in the Great Lakes, specifically from tiny plastic microbeads.
Microbeads are particles, plastic particles that are typically included in personal care products like face scrub, body wash, toothpaste, and they're primarily to help sort of exfoliate and cleanse.
Although scientists don't know much about the effects of these microbeads on the environment, there are some potentially big threats to wildlife.
We find that they actually can become trapped, especially in fish, in the digestive system. So the plastic is still there in some of these fish and doesn't seem to be able to move through their digestive system.
They concentrate contaminants. If an animal ingests the particle, then the contaminants become mobilized inside the organisms, and then they can get exposed to contaminants at higher levels than would be in the natural environment.
According to Holine, pollutants in the water attach themselves to surfaces of the microbeads. Microbeads can resemble fish eggs, and if they are eaten by wildlife, these animals will take in higher levels of toxins than normal. But this isn't just a problem for animals. The effects of microbeads can move up through the food chain and affect humans as well.
If these microbeads are in an aquatic system, then they can work their way up food webs into the fish that we consume.
Some environmentally savvy consumers realized the detrimental effects of these plastic pellets a few years ago and pressured manufacturers and state governments to ban microbeads. Some major corporations have been slowly phasing out microbeads, and several states have banned them before the federal law's passage. Illinois Senator Mark Kirk sponsored the bill and said it was needed to, quote, protect the Great Lakes from sewage dumping, microbeads, and other environmental threats.
You have to ask yourself, is the use of microbeads somewhat frivolous? Do they impart something to a commercial product that is so essential that it's worth this potential cost to ecological integrity?
Microbeads started showing up in products about 15 years ago, and their environmental effects could prove to be a big problem down the road.
Once they get into the environment, there's virtually no way to capture them.
There are over 80,000 chemicals that are in common use, and only of an incredibly small fraction do we have health data on. We tend to say, show us there's harm, rather than saying, show us it's safe.
This law will be a big relief to scientists and advocate groups who have been working for over a decade to take plastic microbeads out of products. As for the future of your face washes, companies have been experimenting with natural alternatives to the plastics like salt or cocoa beans. These are just some small changes with a big impact. This has been Jamie Leventhal with the Northwestern News Network.